Do your feet burn at night when you finally lie down to rest? Do you feel a strange, creeping tingling in your toes, almost like tiny electric shocks? Or perhaps a persistent, dull numbness that makes you feel like you are walking on thick cotton balls? Many people in their 60s and 70s are told by friends, family, and sometimes even busy clinicians that this is simply a normal, inevitable part of getting older. They are told to just live with it, or that it is just poor circulation. But I am here to tell you that these sensations are not just a sign of age. They are a loud, clear, and urgent warning signal from your nervous system. Your nerves are under attack, and for many seniors, the culprit is a hidden, everyday poison that is quietly, day by day, destroying their ability to walk, their ability to balance, and their ability to live with true independence. I'm Dr. Adrian Keller, and in today's video, we're talking about the single most destructive force for senior nerve health. Throughout my career as a senior health specialist here in the quiet, restorative valleys of Switzerland, I have dedicated myself to helping older adults understand the complex, shifting changes happening inside their bodies. My goal has always been simple: to help you stay strong, stay sharp, and most importantly, stay independent. Over the years, I have seen thousands of patients struggling with nerve pain and loss of sensation. And while there are many different causes for these issues, from vitamin deficiencies to structural problems, there is one specific factor that stands out as the single most dangerous yet controllable force for senior nerve health. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on this hidden danger, understand the biology behind the pain, and discuss how you can start protecting your nerves starting right now. To understand how to protect your nerves, we first need to visualize what they actually do for you. Think of your nervous system as the sophisticated electrical wiring of a vast, complex house. Your brain is the central control panel, the powerhouse. Your nerves are the wires that run to every single corner of the building. Some of these wires carry messages of sensation back to the brain, telling you if the floor is cold, if your shoe is too tight, or if the surface you are standing on is uneven. Others carry signals from the brain down to your muscles, telling your legs when to step, your knees when to lock, and your hands how to grip a glass of water. There are also nerves you never even think about, the silent workers, that control your balance and coordination. They tell your brain exactly where your feet are in relation to the floor, even when you aren't looking at them. We call this proprioception. It is what keeps you upright without having to stare at your feet. When these wires are healthy and well insulated, the house runs perfectly. But when that insulation, a substance called myelin, starts to wear thin, or when the wires themselves become corroded or short-circuited, the signals get scrambled, delayed, or lost entirely. This is what we call neuropathy. In simple terms, it is a breakdown of the communication system in your body. And for a senior, this breakdown isn't just about pain. It is about a much higher risk of falls, a loss of confidence in your mobility, and a constant, wearing sense of unease. So, what is this poison that is causing so much damage? You might be surprised to hear that it isn't some rare chemical, a pharmaceutical side effect, or a dangerous toxin found in the environment. It is something much more common, something pervasive, and something many of us consume every single day. The worst poison for your nerves after the age of 60 is not a chemical toxin. It is chronic, elevated blood sugar and the repeated sharp spikes that come from our modern high-carbohydrate diet. Now, you might be thinking, but Dr. Keller, I'm not a diabetic. My doctor says my A1C is fine. This is a very important point. You do not need a formal diagnosis of diabetes to suffer from nerve damage caused by sugar. As we get older, our bodies become less efficient at processing glucose. Our metabolism slows, and our cellular sensitivity to insulin decreases. Even if your fasting blood sugar numbers look acceptable on a yearly lab test, you may be experiencing significant spikes after your meals that are high enough to cause physical damage to your delicate nerve fibers. Think of it as a slow-motion burn. Let me explain exactly how sugar acts as a poison to your nerves. It isn't that the sugar itself eats the nerve. The process is a bit more subtle, but just as deadly. Your nerves are incredibly hungry for oxygen and nutrients. They are some of the most metabolically active tissues in the body. However, they are serviced by some of the smallest, most fragile blood vessels in your entire body. We call these microvessels. When your blood sugar levels run high, your blood becomes thicker, more viscous, and more inflammatory. This inflammation begins to scar, stiffen, and clog those tiny blood vessels. Imagine a beautiful, lush garden that relies on a very fine misting system for its water. If that water suddenly becomes thick like maple syrup, the tiny misting nozzles will inevitably get clogged. The water can no longer reach the plants. Without water, the plants begin to wither, yellow, and die. This is exactly what happens to your nerves. They are starved of oxygen and vital nutrients because their supply lines have been choked off by sugar-induced inflammation. And here is the frightening part. Many seniors do not feel the damage until the nerves are already severely weakened. When those tiny blood vessels clog up, your nerves don't just stop working, they begin to malfunction. They start sending out dying signals, spasmodic, irregular electrical pulses, which your brain interprets as burning, tingling, or sharp, shooting pain. Eventually, if the starvation continues long enough, the nerve goes silent entirely, leading to that dangerous numbness, or glove and stocking anesthesia, where you lose the ability to feel pain or temperature in your extremities. It is vital that you learn to recognize the early warning signs of this process before the damage becomes permanent. Nerve damage usually starts in the areas furthest away from your heart, which is why the feet and toes are almost always the first to be affected. At first, you might only notice it at night. Why at night? Because during the day, you are moving, which keeps your circulation flowing and your nerves occupied. When you lie down, the distractions fade. You might feel a strange restlessness in your legs, or a sensation that your socks are bunched up under your toes, even when you are barefoot. Some people describe it as a pins and needles feeling, like when your foot falls asleep and is just starting to wake up. Others feel a distinct searing, burning sensation on the soles of their feet, often accompanied by a strange sensitivity, what we call allodynia, where even the soft weight of a light bedsheet feels uncomfortable or painful. As the damage progresses, you might start to lose your sense of balance. If you find yourself reaching for the wall or furniture more often when you walk through a dark room, it may be because the nerves in your feet are no longer sending accurate, high-speed position signals to your brain. You are literally losing your connection to the ground. Why does this seem to accelerate so much once we pass the age of 60? There are a few reasons for this. First, as we age, our natural circulation slows down. Our hearts aren't quite as powerful, and our arterial walls lose some of their elasticity. This makes it even harder for oxygen to reach those distant, outlying nerves in the feet. Second, almost all of us develop some level of insulin resistance as we get older. This means that the keys that let sugar out of your blood and into your cells for energy don't work as well as they used to. The sugar stays in your bloodstream longer, circulating through your system and causing that inflammatory damage we discussed. And finally, our body's ability to repair damaged tissue slows down. When we were 20, a little bit of nerve irritation was easily fixed by the body overnight. After 60, the repair crew is smaller and moves a lot slower. We have to be much more careful not to cause the damage in the first place. But let's go deeper into the detective work you need to perform. I want you to become a scientist in your own life. Have you noticed, for instance, that your symptoms worsen after a specific type of meal? Perhaps a meal high in refined white flour or added sugars? Keep a log. For 1 week, write down what you eat and how your feet feel at bedtime. This isn't just about feeling better. It is about gathering data that you can take to your doctor. When you walk into your doctor's office, don't just say, "My feet hurt." Say, "I have noticed that when I eat high glycemic foods, my nighttime burning intensifies. Could we look into my metabolic health more closely?" This shifts the conversation from a general complaint to a targeted investigation. Furthermore, there is a cascading effect. When your nerves are damaged, you change how you walk. You might adjust your gait to avoid the pain. This shift in how you walk changes the stress on your ankles, your knees, and your hips. Chronic nerve pain can lead to secondary joint pain because you are compensating for your inability to feel the ground properly. This is why addressing nerve health early is so critical. It prevents the domino effect of other mobility issues. You are protecting not just your nerves, but your entire skeletal structure. I see many common daily habits that act like fuel on this fire, making nerve damage much worse than it needs to be. One of the most dangerous habits for a senior is late-night eating, especially snacks high in refined carbohydrates, crackers, bread, or sweet treats before bed. When you eat these before sleep, your blood sugar spikes right at the moment you are lying down. Because you are inactive, your muscles aren't burning off that sugar. It sits in your blood for hours, bathing your nerves in that inflammatory syrup all night long. This is a major reason why nerve pain is so often worse in the late night and early morning hours. Another factor is chronic, low-level dehydration. As I have mentioned in my other teachings, many seniors lose their sense of thirst. When you are dehydrated, your blood becomes even more concentrated. This makes the sugar in your blood even more toxic to those tiny vessels. If you are not drinking enough water throughout the day, you are essentially making the poison more potent, and we cannot ignore the role of inactivity. I know that when your feet hurt, the last thing you want to do is go for a walk. But sitting for long periods of time allows blood to pool in your lower legs. It slows down the delivery of oxygen-rich blood to your feet. Movement is like a pump for your circulatory system. Without it, your nerves are left gasping for air. Even if you cannot walk, simple seated leg exercises, lifting your heels while sitting in a chair or rotating your ankles, can help force that circulation downward. Now, I don't want you to feel discouraged. While nerve damage can be a serious challenge, it is not a one-way street. In many cases, if we catch it early and change our habits, we can slow the progression down significantly, and in some cases, even see a return of sensation and a reduction in pain. Your body is remarkably resilient, but you have to give it the right environment to heal. The first step is to focus on stabilizing that blood sugar. This doesn't mean you can never have a treat again. It means being strategic. Try to focus on whole foods, things that don't come in a box or a bag. Vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats like olive oil or avocado act as a buffer, preventing those sharp sugar spikes that act as poison to your nerves. Fiber is your best friend here. Fiber slows the absorption of sugar. If you're going to have a carbohydrate, always pair it with fiber or a healthy fat to dampen the blood sugar spike. Hydration is your second best friend. By drinking a glass of water before each meal and staying hydrated throughout the day, you keep your blood volume healthy and help your kidneys flush out excess sugar. This simple habit alone can significantly reduce the concentration of sugar in your bloodstream. I recommend adding a pinch of high-quality sea salt to your water if you find that you are constantly losing fluids, as this helps keep your cells hydrated rather than just passing the water through. Third, we need to talk about movement. You don't need to run marathons. Even 5 or 10 minutes of gentle walking after a meal can make a massive difference. When you move your muscles, they act like a sponge, soaking up the sugar from your blood and using it for energy. This pulls the sugar out of the bloodstream before it has a chance to damage those tiny blood vessels in your feet. If walking is too painful, consider a stationary cycle or water aerobics. The goal is simply to get the muscles contracting. There are also certain nutrients that are absolutely essential for nerve health, and many seniors are unknowingly deficient in them. Vitamin B12, for example, is like the insulation on those electrical wires we talked about. Without enough B12, your nerves cannot maintain their protective coating. As we get older, our stomachs often lose the ability to absorb B12 from our food efficiently. Many of my patients find that a high-quality B12 supplement, under the guidance of their doctor, can provide a significant turning point in their nerve comfort. Magnesium is another mineral that helps calm irritable nerves and can help reduce that nightly burning sensation, as it supports the electrical stability of the nerve cell membrane. Alpha-lipoic acid is another nutrient that has shown great promise in clinical settings for supporting nerve health by acting as a powerful antioxidant that protects those tiny microvessels from sugar damage. But beyond the biology, we must talk about the emotional aspect of living with chronic sensations like burning feet. It is exhausting. It is lonely. It can feel like your body is betraying you. Please, give yourself grace. When you feel that burning, don't just focus on the pain. Focus on your breathing. Practice box breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. This calms the sympathetic nervous system and can actually lower the perceived intensity of the nerve pain. Managing your stress is part of managing your nerves. Stress hormones raise your blood sugar, which in turn hurts your nerves. Breaking that cycle, physically and mentally, is the key to unlocking true recovery. If you find that your doctor isn't listening, don't give up. It is your right to ask for a referral to a neurologist or to a functional medicine practitioner who specializes in metabolic health. You are the CEO of your own health. You have the right to ask for a deeper look. Request a fasting insulin test, not just a glucose test. A fasting insulin test can show if your body is struggling to maintain balance long before your glucose numbers actually jump. It is a much more sensitive, earlier indicator of the poisoning process we are talking about today. I want you to know that there is hope. If you are feeling that tingling or burning tonight, don't ignore it, but don't panic either. Take it as a message from a friend. Your body is telling you that it needs a little extra care. It is asking you to turn down the poison and turn up the support. By making small, consistent changes to how you eat, how you move, and how you hydrate, you are doing more than just stopping pain. You are protecting your ability to walk to the mailbox, to play with your grandchildren, and to live your life on your own terms. I am always so inspired by the stories I hear from you all. Before we go today, I would love to hear from you. Please, tell me your age and where you are watching from today. I read through your comments, and it helps me understand how to better serve this wonderful community. Have you noticed any of these early warning signs in your own feet or hands? Let us know in the comments below. We are all on this journey together, and your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today to feel less alone. Remember, aging is a privilege, but aging well is a choice. Every glass of water you drink, every short walk you take, and every sugary snack you skip is a victory for your nervous system. You have the power to protect your independence. Stay strong, stay sharp, and keep those nerves healthy. I am Dr. Adrian Keller, and I will see you in our next conversation.